What if the very thing you fear most, being alone, is actually the only path to true power? Look around. We are addicted to noise, terrified of silence, and desperate for validation from people who don't even matter. We mistake solitude for weakness, but the ancient Stoics knew better. Walking alone doesn't mean you are lost. It means you are finally leading. This isn't about being lonely. It's about becoming dangerous. Here are 7 brutal laws of solitude that will make you absolutely unstoppable. We are suffering from a modern plague. It isn't a virus. It is the desperate, pathetic need to be constantly connected. Society tells us to network, to post, to share. It screams that if you aren't seen, you don't exist. That is a lie, and it is making us weak. Be honest with yourself. When was the last time you sat in a room completely alone without your phone, no music, no podcasts, just you and the silence? You can't do it. You feel the panic rising. You reach for the screen like an addict reaching for a fix. Why? Because we are terrified of our own thoughts. We use the noise of the world to drown out the voice inside us. We trade our sovereignty for likes, comments, and validation from people who don't even know us. The Roman philosopher Seneca warned us about this centuries ago. He said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." He knew that the crowd is a contagion. Every time you seek approval from the herd, you lose a piece of your soul. You become a hollow echo of everyone else's opinions. The noise is comfortable, but it is deadly. The crowd offers you safety, but it demands your freedom. To find your strength, you must first cure yourself of this addiction. You must be willing to walk away. Number 1. Radical clarity and the death of noise. Most people believe their thoughts are their own. That is the greatest lie you tell yourself every single day. Look at your mind right now. Is it a fortress? Or is it a public square where anyone can walk in, scream their opinion, and leave their trash? For the average person, the mind is not a sanctuary. It is a chaotic echo chamber. You hear your parents' expectations about your career. You hear your friends' judgments about your relationship. You hear the media telling you what to fear and advertisers telling you what to crave. It is endless, deafening noise. And because you never step away from it, you mistake that noise for your own voice. You think you want that luxury car, but do you? Or have you just been programmed to believe that metal and leather equal status? You think you need to be married by 30. Is that your soul speaking, or is that just generational pressure masquerading as desire? The brutal truth is this: most of what you call your dreams are just commercials you have watched too many times. This is why the Stoics viewed solitude not as a burden, but as a necessity. They understood that you cannot find the truth in a crowd. The crowd is where truth goes to die, replaced by consensus and conformity. When you choose to walk alone, you are not just isolating your body. You are performing an exorcism on your mind. The first thing that happens when you enter true solitude is silence. And for the weak, that silence is terrifying. It feels empty. It feels heavy. But for the Stoic, that silence is a weapon. In that silence, the voices of others start to fade. The validation seeking dies because there is no one to validate you. The performance stops because there is no audience. And finally, for the first time in years, you hear something strange. You hear yourself. You realize that you don't actually care about the corner office. You realize you don't actually like the people you are trying to impress. You realize that your definition of happiness is completely different from what the world sold you. That is radical clarity. Seneca said, "Retire into yourself as much as possible." He didn't mean hide. He meant reconnect with the only thing you actually control, your own ruling reason. Imagine your mind is a glass of water stirred up with mud. That is you in the crowd, confused, murky, reactive. Solitude is letting the glass sit, the mud settles, the water becomes clear. Suddenly, you don't need to ask people for advice anymore. You don't need to poll your friends before making a decision. You know, this clarity is a superpower. While everyone else is running in circles chasing things they don't even want, you are moving in a straight line toward what matters. You become immune to the hype. You become immune to the fear of missing out. So the next time you feel the urge to fill the silence with a podcast or a text message, stop. Sit in the quiet. Let it be uncomfortable. Let the mud settle. Because until you silence the world, you will never meet the person you were actually meant to be. Number 2, emotional sovereignty. When you are around other people, whether you admit it or not, you are on stage. You are performing. You smile when you are actually tired. You nod in agreement when you actually think the idea is stupid. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You are constantly micro-adjusting your personality to fit the room, to avoid conflict, or to beg for a scrap of validation. This is the exhausting tax of social existence. You are renting out your soul for approval. But when you walk alone, the audience disappears. And when there is no audience, there is no performance. This is where true power begins. Think about this scenario. Imagine walking into a high-end restaurant, sitting at a table in the center of the room and eating dinner completely alone. For the average person, this is a nightmare. They feel exposed. They feel pathetic. They think every set of eyes is judging them, pitying the lonely loser. So what do? They pull out their phone, they scroll, they text. They use the screen as a shield to show the world, "I'm busy, I'm important, please don't judge me." That is weakness. That is slavery. It proves that even when no one is talking to you, you are still controlled by the imaginary opinions of strangers. Now imagine the Stoic. He walks in alone, he sits down, he places his phone away, screen down. He eats. He looks around. He is not hiding. He is not waiting for someone to join him to make him feel whole. He is comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't need the waiter to think he's popular. He doesn't need the table next to him to think he's successful. He validates himself. This is the lethal independence the Stoics spoke of. When you spend time alone, you detox from the drug of external validation. You stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Do I respect myself?" You realize that the applause of the crowd adds nothing to your character, and their silence takes nothing away. You become immune to compliments and indifferent to insults. You become solid. The mask falls off. You stop performing. You start living. Number 3, velocity of execution. Here is a brutal truth about the laws of physics and the laws of success. A group always moves at the speed of its slowest member. Society loves to romanticize the squad, the team, and the community. They tell you that if you want to go far, go together, but they forget to tell you the cost. When you are tethered to a crowd, you are forced to compromise. You have to dilute your vision so the average mind can understand it. You have to lower your standards so the weakest link doesn't feel insecure. You have to wait. Think about the last time you tried to do something great with a group, the endless meetings, The group chats that buzz with nonsense but no decisions. The social obligations that drain your energy. You are a race car stuck in gridlock traffic, burning your engine just to move inches. That is not strategy, that is suffocation. The Stoic, the man who walks alone, operates differently. He is not a ragtag army marching in confusion. He is a solo operative, a special forces unit of one. When you detach from the herd, your speed of execution skyrockets. You have an idea, you execute it. You fail, you pivot. You learn, you apply. There is no committee to convince. There is no approval process. There is only the thought and the action, separated by zero lag time. Do a cold, hard calculation of your life right now. How many hours did you waste last month on mandatory fun? Dinners you didn't want to attend, conversations about the weather, arguments with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. If you took all that wasted energy and poured it into your craft, your body, or your business, where would you be? The crowd sells you comfort, but they charge you in time. And time is the one resource you can never earn back. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The crowd is a time-wasting machine. Walking alone allows you to bypass the bureaucracy of existence. While they are still debating the plan, you have already finished the mission. While they are waiting for permission, you have already taken the territory. This isn't about being impatient. It is about being ruthless with your potential. If you want to move at the speed of greatness, you have to cut the anchors. Walk alone, and watch how fast the world gets out of your way. Before we move forward to the next law, we need to have a brutally honest conversation. I have told you about the clarity. I have told you about the sovereignty. I have told you about the speed. But if I stopped there, I would be lying to you. I would be selling you a fantasy, not a philosophy. The truth is this. The moment you decide to walk alone, you will not feel like a warrior. You will not feel like a king. You will feel like you are dying. This is the phase the mystics call the dark night of the soul. And most men never make it through this phase. They take one step into the silence, they feel the cold crush of solitude, and they run back to the crowd screaming for safety. They run back to the noise because the silence is too loud. You need to understand exactly what is going to happen so you do not panic when it does. When you cut off the validation, when you stop checking the apps, when you stop seeking approval, your ego goes into shock. It is exactly the same as a drug addict going through withdrawal. You have spent your entire life injecting the dopamine of other people's attention into your veins. You have built your entire identity on being seen, being liked, and being part of the group. So when you strip that away, you are not just removing a habit. You are killing a part of yourself. You will sit in your room and the walls will feel like they are closing in. Your phone will be silent and your brain will scream that you are irrelevant. You will see others out partying, posting, and performing, and you will feel a deep, aching hollow in your chest. You will think, I am making a mistake. I am turning into a loser. I am going to be forgotten. Your mind will attack you. It will bring up old memories you buried. It will amplify your insecurities. It will try to trick you into picking up the phone just to check, just to feel connected again. Listen to me closely. This pain is not a sign that you are failing. It is the only proof that you are healing. When a fever burns, it is not the sickness. It is the body killing the virus. When you feel this loneliness, it is your soul killing the weakness. You are detoxing from a lifetime of dependency. You are sweating out the poison of the herd. The ancient Stoics didn't seek solitude because it was comfortable. They sought it because it was the fire that burned away everything that wasn't true. This is the test. This is the gatekeeper. If the path to greatness was easy, everyone would be walking it. But they aren't. They are in the bar, loud and drunk, terrified of a single moment of silence. You are here in the dark, facing the abyss. Do not turn away. Do not run back to the anesthesia of the crowd. Let it hurt. Let the silence scream at you. Sit there and stare into the void until the void stops scaring you. Because on the other side of this darkness is a version of you that you have never met. A version that doesn't need them. A version that is whole. The only way out is through. Number 4. Identity reconstruction. Here is a mechanical fact that applies to your life. You cannot repair a car engine while the vehicle is speeding down the highway at 90 miles an hour. If you try to fix a piston while the wheels are turning, you will destroy the machine. Yet, this is exactly how most people try to fix their lives. They try to heal their trauma while still dating toxic people. They try to build discipline while still hanging out with lazy friends. They try to change their mindset while still consuming the same garbage media every single hour. It never works. You cannot rebuild yourself while you are still performing for the world. You need to pull the car off the road. You need to shut off the engine. You need to enter the garage. That garage is solitude. Solitude provides the only environment where you can strip your identity down to the chassis and see what is actually broken. In the noise of the crowd, you are reacting. In the silence of the garage, you are engineering. The Stoics understood that nature demands destruction before creation. Look at a snake. When a snake grows, its skin becomes tight, uncomfortable, and restrictive. It doesn't try to patch the old skin. It finds a rough rock, and it painfully scrapes the old skin off until it bleeds, until the old layer dies and falls away. If the snake refuses to shed its skin, it dies. You are no different. The person you are right now, the one who is anxious, the one who is procrastinating, the one who seeks approval, that person has to die so the new version can breathe. So how do you actually do this? You don't just sit there staring at a wall. You follow the protocol of reconstruction. Step 1 is the autopsy. You need to look at your current life with zero emotion and ask, what parts of me are weak? Is it your need to be liked? Is it your inability to focus? Is it your physical softness? Write it down. Do not be kind to yourself. Be a surgeon. Step 2 is the starvation. You identify the habits and the people that feed your old identity, and you cut off the food supply. If your old self loves gossip, you stop talking to the friends who gossip. If your old self loves comfort, you sleep on the floor. You starve the weakness until it withers. Step 3 is the architecture. Now that the old structure is demolished, you choose exactly who you want to be. You don't find yourself. That is a myth for children. You build yourself. You decide, the new me wakes up at 5:00 a.m. The new me speaks the truth. The new me does not complain. And because you are alone, there is no one there to remind you of who you used to be. There is no past in the garage. There is only the machine you are building for the future. When you finally open the garage door and drive back out onto the highway, people won't even recognize the vehicle. And that is the point. You didn't just take a break, you were reborn. Number 5, anti-fragile self-reliance. Let's look at the difference between a child and a warrior. When a child falls and scrapes his knee, his immediate reaction is to look up. He cries. He waits. He demands that someone bigger and stronger come to pick him up, clean the wound, and tell him that everything is going to be okay. The child survives through dependency. Now look at the average adult. Most people never grow out of this phase. When they lose a job, they wait for the government to fix the economy. When they are unhappy, they wait for a partner to fix their mood. When they fail, they look for someone to blame. They are technically adults, but spiritually, they are still children waiting for a parent who isn't coming. The brutal truth of walking alone is this: nobody is coming to save you. There is no cavalry. There is no magical hand reaching down from the sky to pay your bills, fix your trauma, or do your push-ups for you. When you walk alone, you strip away the illusion of safety. You trip. You hit the concrete. You look around. There is only silence. For the weak, this is a nightmare. But for the Stoic, this is the ultimate liberation. Because once you accept that you are completely on your own, you stop complaining, you stop waiting. You realize that if your life is going to change, it is entirely up to you. This forces a shift in your psychology called extreme ownership. The man who walks alone learns to bandage his own wounds. He doesn't need pity. He doesn't need a shoulder to cry on. He assesses the damage, he grits his teeth, and he stands back up. This makes you dangerous. It makes you anti-fragile. If you rely on others, you are fragile. If they leave, you collapse. If you rely on the system, you are fragile. If the system breaks, you starve. But when your foundation is built on your own discipline and your own resilience, nothing can break you. You become a fortress. You stop asking life for favors and start demanding results from yourself. Number 6, the aura of mystery. There is a strange paradox in human psychology that you have likely ignored. The more you try to fit in, the more invisible you become. The more you are always available, the less your presence matters. Think about the people in your life who you respect the least. They are the ones who answer your text in 3 seconds. They are the ones who are at every party, every dinner, every event, desperately trying to be part of the conversation. They are easy. And because they are easy, they are cheap. In the economics of social interaction, when supply is high, value drops to 0. You are flooding the market with yourself, and then you wonder why people treat you like a commodity. Now look at the people who command the room. Look at the leaders, the high-level operators, the true Stoics. They are rare. You don't know everything about them. You don't know what they are doing on a Friday night because they aren't posting it on their story. They are not easily accessible. And because of that distance, they generate gravity. When you walk alone, you naturally create an aura of mystery. People start to wonder, where did he go? What is he building? Why does he not need us? That confusion turns into curiosity, and that curiosity turns into respect. This isn't about playing games. It is about self-respect. A king does not walk through the village market every day begging for attention. He stays in the castle until he has a reason to emerge. When you withdraw your attention from the world, you increase its value. You teach people that your time is a privilege, not a right. Stop being a public utility. Become a hidden asset. Number 7. Connection to the source. There is a profound misunderstanding about what it means to be alone. Society tells you that solitude is a form of imprisonment. They think that if you are not interacting with another human being, you are disconnected. They believe that if you are not part of the conversation, you are part of nothing. This is the limited vision of the herd. The Stoics knew better. They understood that true isolation isn't being away from people. True isolation is being away from nature. When you are trapped in the noise of the city, surrounded by gossip, politics, and petty arguments, you are cut off from the rhythm of life. You are stuck in a simulation of reality. But when you walk alone, when you step away from the artificial lights and the artificial noise, you finally tune into the frequency of the universe. The Stoics called this the logos, the rational, divine order that governs all things. Think about the last time you stood by the ocean at night, or walked deep into a forest, or looked up at the stars in dead silence. Did you feel lonely? No, you felt small, yes, but you felt connected. You felt an ancient peace that no amount of money or status can ever buy. You realized that you are not just a person trying to survive in a society. You are a piece of the cosmos. Marcus Aurelius, the man who ruled the known world, constantly reminded himself of this. He wrote, "Constantly regard the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul." He didn't find this wisdom in the Senate. He found it in his tent, alone, under the stars of the frontier. The crowd distracts you with what is urgent. Solitude reconnects you with what is eternal. When you walk alone, you are not leaving the world behind. You are waking up to it. You stop worrying about the opinions of temporary people, and you start aligning yourself with the laws of nature. That is not loneliness. That is returning to the source. That is where true wisdom waits for you. Philosophy without action is just intellectual entertainment. You can watch this video, nod your head, feel a little spark of motivation, and then go right back to your distracted, comfortable life. If that is your plan, click away now. You are wasting my time. But if you are ready to actually change, if you are ready to turn this philosophy into a weapon, you need a protocol. We call this monk mode. This is not a vacation. This is a deployment. For the next 30 days, you are going to enter a period of aggressive, strategic solitude. You are going to implement 3 non-negotiable rules. Rule number 1. Sever the digital leash. Your phone is not a tool anymore. It is a pacifier for adults. Whenever you feel a moment of boredom or anxiety, you stick it in your face to numb the pain. You need to break this addiction physically. For the next 30 days, delete every single app on your phone that does not directly contribute to your bank account or your survival. TikTok, gone. Instagram, gone. The news, gone. You will panic. You will feel like you are missing out. Good. That panic is the sound of your brain waking up from a coma. You are not missing out on anything except other people's fake lives. You are reclaiming the mental RAM needed to build your own. Rule number 2, the hour of silence. This is the hardest part. Every single day you must spend 1 hour in total isolation. No phone, no music, no podcasts, no books, no gym partners, just you and your thoughts. You can sit in a chair and stare at a wall, or you can walk in nature. In the beginning, this will feel like torture. Your mind will scream for stimulation. You will remember embarrassing things you did 5 years ago. You will worry about the future. Let it happen. Do not run from the boredom. Boredom is the soil where creativity grows. If you can survive 1 hour alone with your own mind, you can survive anything life throws at you. Rule number 3, the solo mission. Once a week, you must leave your house and do something that is socially designed for groups, but you will do it alone. Go to a movie theater alone. Go to a nice restaurant and sit at a table for 2 alone. Go on a weekend trip to a strange city alone. People might look at you. They might judge you. Let them. You are training yourself to be immune to the spotlight effect. You are teaching your nervous system that you do not need a tribe to be safe. When you can sit in a crowded room, eat a steak, and enjoy your own company without needing to pretend you are texting someone, you have reached a level of confidence that 99% of men will never know. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, pick your start date, commit to the 30 days, and do not break the chain. Warning, there is a cliff edge here, and if you are not careful, you will fall off. As you begin to walk this path, as you begin to cut out the noise and distance yourself from the herd, your ego will try to play a trick on you. It will try to convince you that because you are alone, you are better than everyone else. It will try to turn your solitude into bitterness. This is the trap of isolation, and you must know the difference, or this philosophy will destroy you instead of saving you. Isolation is fear disguised as superiority. Isolation is when you lock yourself in your room not to build your future, but to hide from your failures. It is when you reject society because you are afraid of being rejected by it. It is the lone wolf who is actually just a scared sheep hiding in a cave. That is not Stoicism. That is sickness. That is cowardice. Solitude is different. Solitude is active. Solitude is a choice. You are not running away from the world. You are stepping back to sharpen your weapons so you can re-enter the world with more power. Think of it like a boxer in a training camp. He goes away to the mountains. He trains in silence. He doesn't see his family. He is alone, but he isn't hiding. He is preparing. He knows that eventually he has to step back into the ring. Marcus Aurelius didn't hate Rome. He served Rome. He didn't use Stoicism to become a stone, cold and unfeeling toward his people. He used it to find the strength to lead them. Here is the test to know if you are doing this right. After you spend time alone, do you feel more resentful, angry, and disconnected from humanity? That is isolation. Stop it. Or do you feel calmer, clearer, and more patient with the flaws of others? That is solitude. Do not use this journey as an excuse to become a misanthrope. Do not use walking alone to justify your lack of social skills or your fear of intimacy. The goal is not to live in a hole. The goal is to build a fortress inside yourself so that you can walk through the fire without getting burned. Solitude is the charging station. It is not the parking lot. The return as a king. This is the final piece of the puzzle, and it is where most people get the philosophy of solitude completely wrong. They think the goal of the Stoic is to retreat to a mountain top, sit in a cave, and meditate until they die. They think the victory lies in escaping the world. That is not victory. That is abandonment. You did not walk alone to run away from society. You walked alone to outgrow it so that you could return and lead it. The hero's journey, the oldest story structure in human history, always follows the same pattern. The hero leaves the village. He enters the unknown. He faces the dragon. He dies a symbolic death and is reborn. But the story does not end there. The story ends when the hero returns to the village with the elixir, the treasure, or the wisdom that saves his people. If you stay in the cave, you are just a hermit. If you return with nothing, you are just a tourist. But if you return with a reconstructed soul, you are a king. When you finally step back into the world after a period of deep, reconstructive solitude, you will notice a shift in the atmosphere. You will not fit in anymore. The gossip will sound petty. The complaints will sound weak. The trends will look ridiculous. You will feel like a giant walking among children. Do not let this make you arrogant. Let it make you useful. The world is starving for men who are not addicted to validation. The world is desperate for leaders who cannot be bought, bullied, or brainwashed. By walking alone, you have become that man. You have built a reserve of strength that others can draw from. When chaos hits, and it always hits, the crowd will panic. They will look for safety. They will look for the man who isn't screaming. They will look at you. Because you have already faced your demons in the dark, the demons of the world will not scare you. Because you have learned to validate yourself, you will be able to speak the truth even when it is unpopular. You return to the tribe not to blend in, but to elevate the standard. Marcus Aurelius didn't fix Rome by hiding in his library. He fixed it by taking the wisdom he found in solitude and dragging it onto the battlefield. He used his inner peace to bring order to outer chaos. That is your duty. You rebuild yourself alone so you can be of service to the whole. You sharpen the blade in the dark so it can cut in the light. So walk alone, embrace the cold. Let the silence kill your weakness. But remember, you are not doing this just for you. You are doing this because the world is waiting for the king to return. And when you walk back through those gates, make sure you are ready to lead. The Warrior's Manifesto. Let's set this in stone. You didn't choose this path because you are broken. You chose it because you are building. You walked alone to kill the noise, so you could finally hear the truth. You walked alone to stop performing for an audience that doesn't care. You walked alone to move at the speed of your own ambition, not the speed of the slowest man. You walked alone to strip your identity down to the studs and rebuild it without permission. You walked alone to prove to yourself that no one is coming to save you, and that is okay. You walked alone to become a mystery in a world that is addicted to oversharing. And you walked alone to find the peace that only exists in the eye of the storm. This is not a phase. This is a reconstruction. The next time someone looks at you with pity because you are sitting by yourself, do not look down. Look them in the eye. They see loneliness. You see freedom. They see a man who has been left behind. You see a man who has walked ahead. If you have made it this far in the video, it means you are already different from 99% of the population. Most people clicked away the moment I told them to delete their apps or sit in silence. The truth was too heavy for them. They went back to the comfort of the noise. But you are still here. That proves you have the spark. Now you must turn that spark into a fire. I want you to make a public declaration of your intent. Go to the comments section right now and write these 3 words: I walk alone. This is not just a YouTube comment. This is a contract. This is you planting your flag in the ground and telling the world that you are done hiding in the herd. You are done seeking validation. You are ready to rebuild. And if you want to continue this evolution, if you want to be part of a minority that values strength over comfort and truth over feelings, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We are not building a fan base here. We are building a tribe of Stoic warriors. Walking alone gives you the clarity to see the path, but seeing the path is not enough. You must have the strength to walk it every single day, even when it is steep, even when it is cold. That requires a specific skill set called discipline. In the next video, we are going to dissect the mechanics of iron-willed discipline and how to force yourself to execute when your feelings tell you to quit. You cannot afford to miss that. Until then, remember this final truth. The crowd is comfortable. The path is yours. Get to work.